So yesterday in math, we were talking about addition in one-step problems. Today, we're going to go ahead and up our game and go on to multi-step addition problems. Our LO is I will be able to solve multi-step addition word problems up to 1,000 with regrouping using objects and strip diagrams. So like we mentioned, word problems are real life problems that can happen to us, and we have to use math to solve them. We're going to be working up to the thousands place, and of course we are going to regroup. It's a little bit hard to do it with objects, but we are definitely going to focus on strip diagrams. Yesterday we focused with one-step problem, meaning we only had to do one thing to get the answer. But today we're going to be focused on multi-step, meaning there's going to be more than one step to finish it. Okay, before we continue with word problems, let's review on how to work our computation. Let's try some addition problems before we get started and review regrouping. So here we have a 3-digit number. We have 763 plus 692. We have 669 plus 805. Notice how they are all aligned based by place value. We have the ones with the ones, the tens with the tens, and the hundreds with the hundreds. Same over here, ones with the ones, tens with the tens, hundreds with the hundreds. If we do not have them lined up, then it changes the value of the number and our answer is completely wrong. Okay, so I went ahead and rewrote this here. So, excuse my handwriting, but we're gonna go ahead and practice regrouping, the basic computation. Remember, we start off with the ones value right here, and we add these up. Remember, if it equals 10, it is time to regroup. If it is less than 10, you leave it alone. So let's practice. Here we have 3 plus 2. We know that 3 plus 2 is what number? It's 5. So I'm just going to write 5 right below the ones place. I do not have to regroup because it does not equal 10, so I can go ahead and move on to the next place value. Here we have 9 plus 6. What is 9 plus 6? 9 plus 6 is 15. I cannot do this. This is what I cannot do. I cannot put 2 digits in one place value, so I'm going to go back. What I am going to do is I'm going to write the 5 down here. And remember, once I get to 10, I can go ahead and regroup. So I know that 15, if I decompose 15, I have a 10 and I have a 5 in the ones place, right? Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry over that tens place, that 10, carry it over to the next place value. Okay? The 5 remains here. What is 7 plus 6? Well, I know that 7 plus 6 is 13 plus 1, the number that we regrouped, the tens place that we regrouped, is 14. I'm going to place the 4 here. And notice how I don't have anywhere else to regroup. So it's going to become my thousands place. Okay, this is my thousands place. I'm going to insert, I'm going to put a comma where in between the thousands place and the hundreds place because that's where it belongs. I'm going to go ones, tens, hundreds, and the comma belongs here. Let's practice one more time. Here we start off with the ones place. 9 plus 5 is 13. 9 plus 5 is 14. I'm sorry, because we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. Bad, Miss Garcia. 14, it's okay to make mistakes. Since it is a 14, if we were to decompose a 14, we have 10. We have 1 10 and 4 ones. So we leave the 4 here. We carry over the 1. 6 plus 0 is 6 plus 1 is 7. It is not equaling 10, so there's no need for me to regroup. And now we go to 8 plus 6. What is 8 plus 6? 8 plus 6 is 14. I'm going to put the 4 down here. And once again, there's no thousands place for me to regroup down here, up here, sorry. So I can go ahead and bring the thousands place down. And once again, worry about that comma. Ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. So there we go. Notice how we had to decompose the number so we can make sure that we are regrouping correctly. Now, I want you to go ahead and pause the video and write these problems down. Pause the video and you're going to write these down on your notebook and you're going to regroup correctly. Once you finish, I want you to press play on the video so you can continue. So now that you've taken the time to write them down and solve your problem, and make sure you have solved your problem before pressing continuing on. Thank you for checking. Now we can go ahead and check our answers. Look at the answers below. Make sure that your answers match mine. If they do not, please make sure to check your work. Awesome. So in our below, it says that we are working with word problems. So in word problems, we are going to be using strip diagrams again to help us solve word problems. We are going to use strip diagram to allow us to see our math problem. In second grade, you might have called it part, whole, but it's still the same thing. A strip diagram is a tool that helps us show what we know before we solve a problem. Remember, strip diagrams does have a whole to demonstrate the entire complete total answer, and then part is parts of the problem. Once the 2 parts or 3 parts or 4 parts come together, they do equal the whole. So remember in UPS is a tool that we use to solve a word problem. We read the problem, we highlight or underline important information, and we ask ourselves the question again, what do we need to know? So we rephrase the question again. In our P, our plan, we ask ourselves, do I need to add? Do I need to subtract? And this is where you really use the keywords that are in the problem to help you find out what operation to use. And then in your solve, this is where you actually show all of your work. If you're going to be adding, this is where your adding will take place. And then in your check, this is where you check, is my adding correct? Okay, so let's practice a problem together. Let me check how much time we have. All right, let's practice a problem together. So we're going to practice this word problem here. It says, Miss Lara has 433 crayons in a box, 224 crayons on the floor, and 386 crayons in her closet. How many crayons are there all together? So I've read that one time. I'm going to go ahead and read it a second time. Miss Lara has 433 crayons in a box. Okay, so I know that 433 crayons are in a box. I'm going to go ahead and write this down in my understand because that's what I know. I'm not going to write down the entire sentence, but I am going to write down parts of it. I'm going to say 400. Ooh, that is too small. Oh, that is too small. 400. Oh, that's not bad. 433 crayons. C for crayons in box. Okay. And then what else can I say? Oop. And if the stuff moves, and that's okay, we're just going to keep on rolling. Okay. So what else can I say about it? I can say she has 244 crayons on the floor. And what else? 386 crayons where? In the closet. Man, she has a lot of crayons everywhere, right? So that is the information the story has given me. I'm going to go ahead and highlight so you see what information I have written down. Now that I have highlighted, now that I have written it in my understand, this is what I know so far. I'm going to rewrite the question so that I can understand it in my own words. I'm going to read the question again. How many crayons are there all together? This is an important word, all together. Because when I put things together, that means that I'm putting them close. Okay, so I'm not taking away anything. I'm actually adding on. So all together, how can I put this in my own words? Well, I know that we're talking about crayons, so I'm going to write down crayons. And all together means that I'm going to include all of them. So crayons in all. So we want to know how many crayons are there in all. Well, let's talk about our plan. Would I subtract if I want to find out how many there are in all? No, because I know in subtraction my number gets smaller. So I know if I'm going to include them all the crayons in the box, the crayons in the floor, the crayons in the closet, I know that I need to add them. Oop, that's an equal sign. So I'm going to add. And what am I going to add? Well, let's add the crayons on the floor. 224. Let's add the crayons in the box, 433. And let's add the crayons that are in her closet. So now that we have a plan, right, we know that we want the numbers to get bigger because we were trying to find out how many there are all together. Let's go ahead and worry about our strip diagram. So here we go. Would I put this equation here in the hole? You're right, not yet. Remember that the strip diagram, the complete rectangle, tells me how many there are all together. So here at the bottom, notice that it's divided, it's split into 3 parts to demonstrate where each crayon is. So let's write down the ones that are written that are in the box. Well, 433. We have 224. And then we have 386. Once these numbers come together, if I were to take these little lines, notice that they'll be the same shape and the same size as the whole. So now let's add them up. Go ahead and add them all together. Pause the video and add these numbers all together. Make sure that your ones are with your ones, your tens are with your tens, your hundreds with your hundreds, and your we don't have thousands. So let's actually practice. Let me make sure I have enough time. Let's practice together. So I'm going to write this down over here. I'm going to actually erase. I'm going to erase all of this. Clear page. There we go. And now I'm going to write. Well, here I go. Let me look back at the number. I have 433. 433. And now I have 224. Even if you're adding more than 2 numbers together, it's still the same rules. You always align the place value. And then 3, this is an 8, I promise you that, 86. So notice how I still align the ones with the ones, the tens with the tens, and the hundreds with the hundreds. Here we go. I'm going to start off with the basic one. I know that 6 plus 4 is 10, right? 6 plus 4 is 10. And 10 plus 3 is what? 13. Cool. So I'm going to write the 3 here. I know that 13 has 110, so I'm going to carry it over. I'm still regrouping, guys. I know 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 3, 13, and then here we have 14. I'm going to write this number down. 14 has 110, so I am going to regroup that. Here I go again. I'm going to go with the easiest part. 4 plus 2 is 6, right? 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9. And don't forget the number that we regrouped. 9 plus 1 is 10. Once again, we don't have a thousands place to regroup, so I will write that in here. And then you're going to insert the comma where you feel necessary. And where you feel necessary is right between the hundreds and the thousands. Ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. Good job. Give yourself a round of applause. Awesome blossom. So now what you're going to do is you're going to actually exit out this video and you have your own 2 problems to look at, and then you're going to go on to Google Classroom. If you need to rewatch this video, go ahead and do so, and then just take it as slow as you can. Remember to follow your UPS strategies, okay? Awesome blossom.